The 76ers are not going to be the 2026-2027 champions, and let me tell you why. So as everybody knows, LeBron James always end up going to a team. He started out in Cleveland, went to Miami, they won it in year 2. Then back from Miami to Cleveland, they won it in year 2. Then in LA, he won that Mickey ring, that bubble ring in year 2 as well. So I'm knowing that this first year, and other stuff that we're about to get into, I'm knowing that the 76ers are not going to win it this year, and they may or may not win it next year. I know I was really high on this team in my last 2 videos. Go ahead and watch those while you're at it, and subscribe while you're at it as well. Comment down below. Comment down below what your favorite food restaurant is, bro. Just comment something. But anyways, I was really high on this team, but now that I'm thinking about it, honestly, this team really isn't all that good to me. Okay, before I say that, this team is amazing. It's incredible, right? On paper, right? We have Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Joel Embiid, and LeBron James himself. This team is incredible on paper, but I don't think they have what it takes to win a championship, and this is why. So I know that they have, you know, obviously Jaylen Brown, who is a finals MVP. He made it all the way. We're gonna look at that team in a second, but I also want to talk about their certain locker room moments and you know, how I think that'll affect them later on in the season. So here we have a certain comment that Jaylen Brown said about Bronny James that LeBron James obviously didn't like, right? He said, honestly, I don't think Bronny's a pro. Jaylen Brown on Bronny James during his 2024 NBA Summer League debut. And LeBron James responded, our relationship has been respectful, but besides the shit he said about Bronny at that Summer League. And we all know how LeBron James feels whenever people talk about Bronny James.
Especially maybe if he started the year, but they're stacked.
Yeah.
But
Dylan's great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, Dylan's great. I mean, his daddy ain't shit, but he's good. I see him when I see him.
As y'all can see, one thing that LeBron do not take no disrespect on is Bronny James, and I do kind of see, or I appreciate that, you know, as a father, him being an active father. You know, he didn't have a father growing up, so him defending his child, you know, whether that be with Stephen A. Smith, that's a whole nother video that I'll probably make in the future. But you know, regardless of who it is, and for whatever reason, it always seems to be 40 to 50-year-old men talking about Bronny James. But you know, obviously, Jaylen Brown didn't say this publicly, and Ron Harper had said something about Bronny James. I don't feel like getting into that. It was just to prove that, you know what I'm saying? LeBron James is not like when people talk about Bronny James. Now, Jaylen Brown did say something about him in this, I guess, debut that he had, and here you can see it. They're kind of just reading his lips. He was saying that he's not pro ready, and obviously, you know, he's talking to the Huz here. Angel Reese is smiling. I don't know why she's smiling. She got a mustache going on, but I don't know who this is. But he you know what I'm saying? He talking to the Huz. I don't know why, you know, you would diminish another man while talking to the Huz. That's just something you don't do. I don't know, bro. I wouldn't do that shit. But you know, at the end of the day, he was not saying this shit publicly, right? But LeBron James did kind of take offense to that shit, but he did say that their relationship has been respectful. Now, do I know that these guys are talking? You know what I'm saying? I have no clue. I'm not tapped into their phones. I'm not the police, so you know what I'm saying? I have no clue. I have no idea.
What's the season been like? I mean, I think you just use the motivation of a lot of people just saying that they're going to have a down year because obviously JT being out, you know, them losing Drew, Al leaves, Porzingis leaves, their whole championship team pretty much is revamped. Use it as motivation to keep them afloat. They're playing great basketball, and it's because of him and the rest of those guys. He's taking that next step. You know, our relationship has been pretty respectful. Besides the shit he said about Bronny at Summer League.
I was wondering if you guys were able to get past that.
But other than that, you know, we've been all right. You know?
So, you know what I'm saying? This was before, obviously, LeBron James got traded. But, I mean, this kind of just a PR statement. You know, LeBron James is PR ready. This motherfucker is most PR-born ass motherfucker ever. He's always going to give you a PR response. He's not going to be like Jaylen Brown a bitch, right? Well, he did say that about Ron Harper, but, you know, Ron Harper not even in the league. He's kind of a nobody, and he's living through his sons right now. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. This might affect him. This might not, but there's more. Something I find myself realizing is that Jaylen Brown is the reasoning for a lot of these bad locker room moments. This dude does not hold back, and you know, that could be a positive or a negative. Personally, I enjoy a person that's going to tell me straight up how they feel about me. So I mean, it's to each their own, but I know there's a lot of sensitive guys in the NBA, and personally, I don't know how the 76ers guys are. I don't know if Joel Embiid is going to be that sensitive to certain comments that he made, because on stream, this dude Jaylen Brown aired out and said that he thought that Joel Embiid was flopping and failing around. But before we get into that, Jaylen Brown did actually clarify his alleged criticism to Bronny James in the Summer League. So he took to social media and basically he rode LeBron dick. it. Here's the clip again, and he had put on social media, what is this profile pic? Is this an AI profile pic, Jaylen Brown? You're a fucking multi-millionaire, bit dog. It's a flex to have, oh my goodness, I didn't even mean to click on it. It's a flex to have your son alongside you in the NBA, reflects greatness and longevity. Ronnie has all the tools around to be successful. I look forward to watching him grow. So again, PR response, not that bad of a response. I think that as a man, you got to pick your battles, and I think he chose to pick that battle, and you know what I'm saying, just surrender and apologize. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Personally, I don't think Bronny James is that good of a player. Do I think he can be on an NBA roster? Yes, I do. But you know, it's all up to him. It's all up to, you know, how good he wants to play. But that's besides the point.
I might disagree, you know what I mean? But argue with your grandma. Flopping has ruined our game. Joel Embiid is a great player, one of the best bigs in fucking basketball history. Flops. He know it. This ain't breaking news.
And then here is Jaylen Brown's thoughts on Joel Embiid before their eventual team up. Now, personally, I have no clue how these guys are going to feel. And obviously, in the beginning of the season, these guys are going to be like, "Oh, we're all good. We're texting. We're DMing." Here we have a tweet from Sleeper 76ers saying Joel Embiid and Jaylen Brown have spoken since Brown was traded to the Sixers. Per at T Jones on the NBA. I don't know who that guy is. I really don't know how credible he is. But at the end of the day, he said what he said, and you know what I'm saying? When you have a lot of egos in the locker room, comments like that in the beginning aren't going to get under people's skin. But when things get rough, because this team is not going to steamroll through the NBA, right? Did they add Jaylen Brown and LeBron James? Yes, they did. But it's not like they're going to steamroll through the NBA. There are still teams that can compete with them, right? The Oklahoma City Thunder can compete with them. The Spurs, the Knicks, shit, y'all gonna call me crazy. The Hawks, real ones know. They can compete with those teams, right? So I'm saying they're not going to steamroll through these teams. So as of now, it's not going to affect the locker room too much. But when it gets down and dirty, when this team's down 20, game 6, on season on the line, do you not think those comments are going to get in the way of things? I personally think they will. But obviously with the 76ers, not everything was negative. Of course, they have these negative comments through Jaylen Brown. And personally, I like Jaylen Brown as a player, but I do think he can be a little too egotistical. I know that the media half of the media chose his side and the other half didn't. You know what I'm saying? With the recent comments of him, you know, executives saying that Jaylen Brown has a virus, or like what they say, I forgot the right quoting for it, but they basically said that this dude constantly thought that he was the smartest guy in the room, calling it like a disease. And you know what I'm saying, to each their own. I personally think that Jaylen Brown is a very intelligent guy, but I also do think that with that intelligence comes a little bit of too much ego. You know, when people asked him, or I guess he didn't even got asked, he had said on stream that this was his favorite season. And you know what I'm saying, obviously Jason Tatum was injured majority of it. Jaylen Brown was in MVP conversation, and he took them all the way to a playoff, had 50 plus wins, and he played incredible. At the end of the day, these guys have won a finals together, right? Like, when a superstar that you want would say that, you know, their favorite season of all time was when they won the finals. And granted, the dude won finals MVP that year too. It was not like he went home with no accolades. He had accolades to you know what I'm saying, speak on. So I just think Jaylen Brown is slightly a little too egotistical for the 76ers to work. But yeah, like I said, not everything is negative, as we have LeBron James and Tyrese Maxey getting an early start. So these guys have already met up, you know what I'm saying? And LeBron James has stated that the reason why he wanted to go to the 76ers in the first place was because he liked Tyrese Maxey. He liked him as a player, and he wanted to play with Tyrese, right? And as soon as he said that, I was already knowing 76ers all the way. This dude LeBron's gonna go to the 76ers. So I think that the reasoning he's here is because of Tyrese Maxey. Obviously, Jaylen Brown getting there is a substantial jump in the level of play of this team, because I would say this: Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and LeBron James with VJ Edgecombe, they could be a championship level team, but Jaylen Brown takes them to another level, right? Obviously, this dude is a finals MVP, you know, conversations at MVP, 28 points per game score. He's one of the best players in the league. On top of that, these guys also assembled a super squad on the bench with Contavious Caldwell-Pope and Dean Wade, and you know what I'm saying, they're going to get a return of their all-rookie first team selection, VJ Edgecombe. So these guys have a very talented, defensively talented, offensively talented team, right? I just really do hope, well, I mean, I wouldn't say I hope, because I'm not a 76ers fan. If anything, I hope the worst for these guys. But you know, in the mindset of a 76ers fan, I really do hope that the egos in the locker room do not get in the way of what can, you know, become. At the end of the day, this team is very competitive, but there are other teams that, you know what I'm saying, we've seen it before, that can upset them. But my up-nose final prediction is that if these guys are definitely not going to win a championship year one. They have to mesh together, you know what I'm saying, mend well, become an actual unit, right? Players on a stat sheet or players on a piece of paper, right, together on paper look good, but let's say you add Russell Russell Westbrook to the 2016 Golden State Warriors. On paper, you got two of the best players of all time. And then KD wasn't there yet, right? But you still have Draymond, Klay Thompson. On paper, that looks incredible, but obviously it takes time, right? Not everybody's the Golden State Warriors that can get Kevin Durant and win a championship year one, but it was also because of the fact that, you know, Kevin Durant was willing to allow Steph Curry to be himself, and Steph Curry was also willing to allow Kevin Durant to get his ISO bucket, right? So it all takes sacrifice, but that was due to the fact that Kevin Durant went there to win a finals, right? And I'm aware that Jaylen Brown got traded there, so it wasn't really all much to his decision to go there. So it's not like Jaylen Brown is leaving his team to be like, oh, I want to go win a finals on the 76ers. He's basically forced out, if you really think about it. He didn't really force his way out because he never asked officially for a trade, and if anything, he was forced his way out. So it's not like he went to the 76ers to go win a finals. Obviously, you know, you'd think that every NBA's player's you know, #1 goal would be to win a finals, but you never know. You never know what's going on through these guys' heads. So if anything, these guys possibly win year two. You know, in year two, they'll have a full year together. I predict these guys making it to the Eastern Conference Finals and getting upset by either the Hawks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, or the New York Knicks again. And a part of me is hoping that the Celtics take these guys out because I just hate super teams. But I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. I love you guys and I appreciate y'all. Peace.